Welcome to this episode of the Million Dollar Mastermind. I'm Larry Weidel, and before we get started, if you want to know exactly how to win again and again, go to weidelonwinning.com/webinar now to watch something I've put together for you. Now let's get going into this episode of Million Dollar Mastermind. I'm here having a ball talking with my good buddy John Clendenin, and member of the Skiing Hall of Fame. There's not a lot of members in the Skiing Hall of Fame, but he's in there, and he's got his own. He's been skiing and teaching skiing since 77. Would you say? Is that right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And folks, when you teach it that long, you learn some stuff. And came up with his method in the late 90s, and he's been refining it, teaching it over and over to not just skiers, but to instructors. Instructors go to Johnny. Professionals go to Johnny. World Cup skiers go to Johnny for refinement and conversation. Because everybody's like, golfers talk golfing, and so they know when they talk to John, they're going to learn something. And so, congratulations, John, on all of your success in skiing. And the thing is, John, you got people listening, and they're in their world, and hopefully doing something they enjoy and something they have some passion about. But when you're in the glamour doesn't seem to be there on a daily basis, does it?
Well, I don't know. I think my primary gratification in what I'm doing really does. I mean this, and from my heart of hearts, I get so excited when I see someone get it, because they've had a breakthrough and they realize it, and they can now go some places that they weren't able to go before. One of the nicest things I heard lately was this older gentleman. I'm an older guy too, but he's older than I am. I think he was like 77 and something. And he came up to me and he said, "John, damn man, I'll tell you, this thing you're doing, I mean, there's nothing else in my life I'm doing that I'm getting better at. This is it." And that really does inspire me, Larry, because I've been there. I've gone down mogul fields in competition where they had big speakers on each side. We had helicopters up above us shooting the event. We had 10,000 people at the event watching it, and they're all screaming and yelling. And when I'm going down having one of the best mogul runs of my life. I almost bit my tongue off during the event. And I'm just saying, that kind of thrill and that kind of excitement isn't something that happens every day. It's not
Right.
Something that's available for you to go experience. So, but it's almost like when someone pops off to this other level in their ability and their skiing, is so exciting for them. It reminds me of that day of mine, that was,
Right.
With the helicopters and all the people and stuff, because they just are so excited. This run used to just scare me to death, and now it's nothing. It feels easy to do. When I hear that, it just it's very stimulating. That's where my gratification comes from these days. Really.
Now, let me ask you this. Like all of us, when we're in a business a long time, we have the opportunities to get out, do something different. And I know you went through that a couple of years ago, wondering, should I keep on going? Should I kind of cash in my chips and move on and do something else? And you hung in there, you stayed with it. And you're now, your camps are selling out, and the momentum, the success, but along the way, you broke your darn ankle in the slipping in the ice out there, and have had what, four or five surgeries?
Oh boy, I tell you what, I think that to be honest with you, that I wasn't really a trampoline or a diver. I didn't have that in my background.
Yep.
And in freestyle, there's three events. There's ballet skiing, and there's aerials, and there's moguls. Right? There's three events,
Right.
and the big prize went to whoever had the lowest points in all three events combined. That's where the car was, and I won more cars than anybody in those 2 years. But the thing was, in the aerials, in order for me to place high in the aerials, I had to either jump higher and go further than these guys that were doing the twists and the flips, right? To,
Right.
to compete with them. So I out jumped several of the landings in my career. And I've literally been knocked out twice with perfect landings where I didn't even fall. I kept going, even though I was unconscious. I'm not, no, it happened twice. I actually broke a jaw on my knee and came back up, and I'm standing there, and then they gave me a perfect landing score, right? And then I fall over because I'm unconscious. um, and and because of that, I think I blew some cartilage in my right ankle mainly,
Okay.
and it just devastated. And so that's been an issue for me. And I teach thumpless skiing. That's my word.
Right.
And and I really believe in that. That there's only two places you can thump when you're skiing, and that's going into a bump or coming out of the bump. And if it happens in either place, you did not manage your speed right.
Yeah.
You did not manage your speed correctly. So it's kind of ironic that here I am teaching about smoothness and ski snow contact all the time, and I've gotten pretty good at it. But this darn right ankle, I had an operation scheduled, and they went in and they said, John, we got rid of some bone spurs and stuff, but buddy, you got nothing there to grow. There's nothing there we can work with. And so then I had to go in and have a replacement. Yeah. So it's been a real interesting time period for me. And the thing is, my left ankle still feels great. I hope that stays there. But I'm pretty sure it was my competitive career that kind of caught up to me.
How did how did you what did you how did you evaluate going through that and dealing with it and keep yourself moving forward? Because you kept the business going like gangbusters.
Well, luckily it didn't come the major effects of what's been going on in this particular foot didn't come to fruition until these last couple of years. But I could still ski. I mean, I actually skied last year. I can ski on one leg. I can do that without any problem. But the bad foot, is still functional. I was still able to go into the bumps. If you learn how to handle the bumps right, you absorb all the pressures, and the absorption move actually makes the turn easier. When people really get it, it's easier to ski down the bumps than it is to ski down the groomed terrain. When you really, really get it. So I was able to keep going. Psychologically, it's a tough issue to deal with because I'm not able to, to be as fluid as I can imagine. I've actually visualized it being more fluid than it is. But I have a good team. I mean, my team is my team of coaches have really backed me up, and they embody the method really nice. I pick coaches by how I see their skiing change. It's like when I see their skiing change, I know they're getting it and they're really adopting it, and it's meaningful. So all my coaches are skiing better than they've ever skied in their life, and they're carrying the business in a lot of ways. I don't know how else to explain it. It luckily it kind of held off until I crossed that bridge of of it being a challenge, whether it was going to work or not for me. I got across to the good side.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of information online, but there aren't a lot of people who've actually done something. In my case, I've actually built a successful business that's accrued over $5 billion in assets under management and has done well even during trying times. Now, if you want to know exactly how I've done this, go to whiteelemwinning.com/webinar now. I've compressed a decade of learning into 5 short weeks just for those of you who want to give yourself an incredible advantage and are tired of waiting and watching others move up.
Yeah, and talk about that thing with uh, the team. The great team will carry you when life starts.
Challenging, yeah.
Yeah, starts chopping you down. Talk about how that works, and there can be an education there for us too, because you're forced to delegate things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise have been quite as likely to do, to think only I can do this.
Well, I've got like 12 coaches now. I've got I've got a guy in Sweden, and another guy in Val d'Isere, France, and I've got coaches in Beaver Creek now, and I've got
Oh, you do?
yeah, and I've got a coach back east now, and I've got 6 here in Aspen, and every one of them brings a different quality to the program. Susie Bugsy, for instance, this lady is so full of charm, and I mean, she's like being around a golden retriever. Everything she does makes you feel good.
Right.
And her skiing, I would say she might be one of the, if not the best female skier in Aspen. She's right up there with them, and her skiing went up another level with the method. And Mark Broderick, who I think he's so devoted to it now, so committed. I had him booked with clients every day of the year last year. When between the camps and the clients, he was 100% booked. And I miss being out there, obviously, but seeing what the coaches are able to do with my program is very rewarding. And hey, I make them. They not only. Mark has a great face. Mark says, "Damn it, if these coaches don't get it, John," he says, "it's all in the book. There's enough in that book to keep someone busy teaching every day for months."
Yeah.
They don't need to go outside the book to teach anything.
Yeah.
And if I catch them doing that, believe me, I let them know. So the point is, they do have to stick to the method, though.
Yeah. You got, it's not a restrictive thing. It's basically principles. I mean, it's the, it's the core stuff. It's like gravity. This is like A follows B. Brick falls off a building, it's going to hit the ground. There's no real question about it. Because you're dealing with gravity, and so there are some absolutes. Your body movement, everything, how you make it happen depends on your structure and what your ability, athletic ability, how well you're trained. But there's no arguing what's going to happen when you throw yourself in with gravity.
Well, I think one of the things that's great about our program and the fact that the coaches are committed to it is that we have a definite progression, Larry. We do have a progression that we work in. And it's like the basic skills, we call them keys to the kingdom. And there's 5 of them. And you first learn each one of these 5 things on groomed terrain. If you can't do it in the groomed terrain, you sure aren't going to be able to do it up there on the steep stuff, or the more challenging terrain. So we do it. We do use the groomed terrain to introduce the keys to the kingdom. And each one of these keys is like an onion. It has its real basic element to it. But as you learn more about it and get better at it, you learn the different progressive phases of it. And each one of these keys, I have a certification program now, by the way, and that we put people through, where on the 3 levels of certification, you have the fundamental, the advanced, and the ultimate levels of certification. And when someone graduates from the ultimate level, and I've got 3 people working on that now, 4 people that are working on that ultimate level of CM certification, who could instruct anywhere in the world when they get through it. They could actually be instructors. Part of that certification is learning how to present the method and how to communicate it. And I'm talking about regular people like you and me who are going through the program and graduating. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling thing that I'm working on, because it's going to create its own coaches.
Well, would you say, John, the more you understand the program, the more you can, or your process, you can simplify it and make it duplicatable? Because the key thing about the ski, and we're talking about the ski method, skimethod.com, and we're talking about learning how to ski. But what's unique about John is that he went in as a supremely, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but supremely uniquely gifted and talented and developed skier. Like he said in the beginning, when they started the ski competitions, I mean, he's the guy who won all the cars. And, that's from 3 different phases of competition. And he was the guy winning the car every week. And so when that wasn't duplicatable, you couldn't go out there and say, look, here's how you jump that high, or do the ballet down the hill, or, ski bumps. You can't, like, one lesson. But you took that and turned it into a duplicatable. You unraveled the onion and made it to where not only could you teach people, you could teach people to teach people. And that's where, you got something, don't you think?
I really feel that that's, if I'm going to have a legacy, that's where it's going to come from. I've got right now, not just my coaches that are my active coaches, but I've got 3 people who came as intermediates at the best. They were stuck on groomed terrain. They're frustrated. They've been taking lessons and stuff, and they hear different stuff from different people all the time, and they haven't been getting any better, and they hadn't been able to get off the groomed highway. I've got 4 of those people right now who probably ski as well as the top 10 instructors in this country.
Wow.
I mean it. They took it real serious, like you, Larry. I mean, you technically, the last time we skied together, you were skiing on a level, and it. You were skiing on a level that looked as good as anybody out there, including the instructors.
Yeah, thank you, John.
You did. You became an incredible advocate and example of what I'm talking about. Now, I've had people who even have taken it a step further than maybe you did, and hopefully we'll get together again and I'll be able to explain that, because part of the process is not just being able to do it, being able to communicate it.
Right.
Being able to relate it. And that's where the longevity of my program is going to come from, I think.
If you enjoyed what you've heard and are dead serious about finding out for yourself exactly how this works in the real world, I've taken the most valuable business lessons I've learned over 40 years and put them into something for you to watch. Go to whiteelementwinning.com/webinar now in order to move up as fast as possible. I'm Larry Weidel, and I run the $1 Million Mastermind. Go, go, go.